Paul uses three words here to complete our understanding of what temptation is. And the three words are temptation, overtake, and common to man. Temptation. Temptation is, it's one word with two meanings depending on the context. So in one sense, depending on the context, the word temptation can mean to test or to determine the quality of something. So if you want to find out what something is made of, if you want to figure out what its stuff is, you test it. You test it. And then the second meaning is the word entice, to bait, to lure, to induce you to do evil. Now, God will often allow us to be tested. That's the first portion of the definition. But God will never entice us to do evil. And that's what we read in James 1:13, right? God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. Overtake. You see that in verse 13? No temptation has overtaken you. I don't know why the English Standard Version says overtaken, because the word is simply to take. Temptation has one mission, and that is to snatch you, to grab you, to imprison you. Isn't that how we feel when temptation strikes? We feel imprisoned. We feel caught. And that takes us to this third word, common to man. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. Again, I don't know why the English Standard Version says common to man, because the word is just simply human. No temptation has taken you that is not human. So whatever temptation that you have experienced, others have as well. You see, temptation is the lure of an alternate reality. Temptation is the fantasy of a fictional realm in which you are given the throne of heaven and earth. Well, that takes us to question number 2. We now know what temptation is and what it's about, this alternate reality of enticement. But what do we learn about God? Oh, this is beautiful. This is just beautiful. No temptation has taken you that is not human. And then here's the actual word order. Here it is. Faithful is God. We can trust our faithful God. That is the unchanging spiritual reality which outweighs temptation's fantasy. He's faithful and he's sovereign. And God displays his sovereignty in these verses by what he will and will not do. Paul says in these verses, he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. Instead, he will make an escape. I'm going to make it for you so that you can endure it. Now, isn't that interesting? Don't read that too quickly. Why would we need to endure something after God makes an escape? Isn't the point of an escape so that we don't have to endure it? And yet God's escape is for our endurance. In other words, faithful is our God who makes a way for us to overcome sin by enduring the trial. Faithful is our God who helps us escape sin in the situation when we can't be taken from the situation. Christ's truth is your escape because God's faithful. Now, what does he want us to do? Well, look at verse 12. You see it? Therefore, let anyone who thinks that he stands take heed lest he fall. Take heed. What's that word? What's that word heed mean? Take heed. It means to see. To see. To have the faculty of sight. To see something for what it is. So temptation offers the alternate reality that sin is better than being in God's presence. But I'm telling you, God is the strongest pleasure that you can ever feel. And joy in his company is the deepest, fullest feeling you can ever experience. And temptation wants you to think otherwise. But Paul says, see it for what it is and flee to him for who he is.